Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out the GitGud Course. Instead of just understanding concepts, you'll learn how to implement them directly into your driving. What makes it effective is the approach and practical drills. Together, we're gonna focus on breaking down those complex concepts into small digestible bits that are simple to understand. Everything from the course was tested and refined during the years in coaching sessions, so what I ended up with was the ones that I saw were the most effective. Let's elevate your racing skills together. Now for the track guide. Before starting, if you like this video, giving it a like and a subscribe is a free way to support the channel, as I can create more content like this. Now going into the track guide itself, for turn 1 we firstly want to open up the corner by placing the car on this green part with our left tires. How much you can use? You have to keep your center of the car in within this red and white curve. Sometimes when you're braking, you might drift away a bit towards the left, and that's the moment where you will get the off track. So take a bit of margin initially, because while braking, if you put the brake bias a bit rearwards, the car might dance a bit under the braking and you can get the 1x. Now in terms of the braking point itself, I'm looking at this concrete on the left side and I'm braking in regards to it. So mostly it will be at this yellow or orange lights around here. You see that right now whenever they are covered from my pillar, I'm applying the brakes, but I'm always looking at this road in front of me on the left side of the curve. We're gonna brake in a straight line. We're gonna hold a high peak pressure around 90%, and we're gonna turn into a corner looking at this yellow sausage curve. At this point in time it's not visible, but we have to imagine it in our minds that we just want to put a tire on the yellow part, because the car will follow your vision and your vision will follow your initial train of thought. So you have to see it through. You have to put the tire on this yellow and cut it like this, and immediately, even before touching the yellow, you should be back on throttle. So the moment that I'm already on throttle is this point in time before going on the curb. Like right now I'm pressing the throttle. This is going to be key, because you will have a sector in which the earlier you're going to be on throttle, the more time you're going to gain, the minimum speed is going to be up. So right now we're pushing the car towards the center right, and then we're cutting it with 100% throttle, just doing a lift whenever we're mounting this curve. The more you cut here, the better it's going to be. However, if you're not doing the lift, you will lose the car here. You will lose a lot of time. So you have to time the moment that you're mounting the curve with the lift. Now the car should be not all the way to the right side, but it should be in the right side, mostly right side, because in the next moment we're going to try to bring it to the left like right now, and immediately after going to the right. So if you will be all the way towards the left on the exit, you're giving away a lot of lap time on entry. If you're all the way to the right, then this next corner is going to be uncomfortable and you will lose time. Have to be more towards the right so you can carry speed, but not all the way. Now going into this corner, I'm just doing a lift here with 1% braking, and then whenever I'm putting the throttle back again, notice that I'm clipping this curb. If you watch the Hotlap, you can clearly see that I'm almost going over this curb and touching this dirt sand. This is going to be very powerful here because it can make the car rotate a lot more. Now for the next corner, same thing with using the curb. Want to beat the car all the ways to the left, or to the left of the green. Still not going to be an off track. In terms of braking, I'm braking slightly before the bridge. So right now I'm applying the brakes. So you see it's not exactly under the bridge, slightly before. And a good tip that you have to take into account, you have to downshift very quickly here. Because if you will downshift late into the corner, you will lose the balance, the car will drift away. So what I'm doing is, the moment that I'm pressing the brakes, I'm spamming the downshift to get into third gear. This car is lazy with the downshift, so the better way to do it is you will try to give the downshift at the first possible moment when the car can accept it. So it's impossible to time it. If you will try to time the moment when the car will accept it without trying it previously, you will be a bit late. It's impossible to do it at the first available moment. So what I'm doing here, and you can't hear it because I had this microphone on mute, but on my braking I was doing this. I was trying to spam the downshift to get the third gear in the first possible moment, because ideally you want to go to third, like right now, whenever you have just a little bit of steer lock. Because if you will go to third gear whenever you will be something like this, close to 45 degrees angle, then the downshift will unbalance the car. You're already asking for rotation from the steering wheel. You will get too much rotation and the car will slide into this corner. So do the downshift as quickly as you can, trailing a lot into this corner with lower percentage. Notice that I'm holding 10, 10, 20, 18, 8, 3, 1, 6, 11, 9, and now going back on power. So this is a very long corner. So you have to think about your braking in two stages. You have to brake firstly hard to slow the car down, and then a longer trail brake so you can make the car rotate, because whenever you go on throttle, ideally you just don't want to drop it. You want to keep it flat like I did here. So start with this in mind. Go whenever you go on throttle, stay and keep the throttle pinned. Now for the next corner, the same thing with the downshifts. You have to downshift very quickly, going into third, and while you're approaching this one, you will go into second. Don't go too late into second, because again, you will get a bit of oversteer. So in terms of apexing, you want to apex around this red and white curb, barely touching the green with the left tire, like this, barely touching it. So in your mind it will be like 1% I'm touching it, no more than that, because otherwise you will get pushed all the way to the sand. As you can see, this tracks from my previous lap. Use all the space here, and now for the next corner, don't stay on the right side, you will travel a longer distance. Cut it here on the left side like this, and now you will go diagonally for the next corner. You will use this curb, you will brake before the curb, downshifting to third. Notice that at turn in, I'm using all the curb to the grass. This is important to open up the corner. Trail braking and kissing the red and white curb. Don't go on the green, avoid the green. Pushing the throttle, and now this is very easy to take the off track. So be careful here. If you will push all the way to the sand, you will get a 1x. So you have to go and leave a bit of space and then immediately turn left. You can cut this yellow sausage anti-curb like this. This is gonna be perfectly fine. This is actually the faster way to do it, but be careful with the off track. Now for the next corner, high speed corner, use all the way towards the grass, and the end of the curb here, I'm just turning first and then applying the brakes. Don't brake and then turn, because the car will be sluggish to turn. The car will be a bit lazy. So you want to first turn 100% throttle, immediately afterwards drop the throttle and spike the brakes, or push the brakes, don't spike it. 20% pressure, and now whenever you're at the yellow anti-curb, like this, very close to it, push the throttle back. This should give you a good line. And now for the low speed corner, for the hairpin, my reference for braking is this white bridge. At the white bridge, like right now, I'm applying the brakes, brake hard in a straight line, use the curb on the right side to open up, downshift to second a bit earlier than what I'm doing. Notice what is happening. I'm doing the downshift to second a bit too late, and now the car starts over rotating. I'm losing a bit of time because of that. So downshift just a bit earlier, stay towards the left side, because right now for this corner, you will treat it as a double apex corner. You will look here on the right side at the curb. You're gonna turn first with 100% throttle, push the car near the curb, immediately brake, and this is a long trail braking. You don't want to brake hard, but you want to brake soft and hold it for longer, because we're apexing here first. Now we're holding the brakes, still braking, still on the brakes, still on the brakes. We want to push the car a bit deeper, and now we're putting the throttle back to cut it here on the end of the curb like this. So this is a double apex corner. Now for the next one, you have to cut a lot of the curb on the entry. So I'm turning with 100% throttle, and I'm looking here. I want to take this curb in between the tires. So taking it like this, I'm doing a lift and a small brake to make sure I'm gonna do that. And for the last corner, take the yellow anti-curb in between the tires, like this. And at the end of the yellow, you will turn with 100% and then brake. Notice that here I'm kind of braking at the same time while I'm turning. Not ideal, you want to first turn and blink of an eye later brake, so you can gain a bit of time if you're gonna do it this way. But in short, you have to apex late into this corner. So notice that I'm not aiming at the beginning of the curb here. I'm taking it more towards this wall on the pit entry, like here in terms of apex point. The later you're gonna apex, the better it's gonna be. An early apex is gonna give you a wide exit and you will take the gravel or the off track. But in short, that's the track guide with the GT4 around Barcelona. I hope you have a great week ahead, and if you want to improve at a quicker pace and shave seconds per lap, check out my sim racing course, it's in the video description. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye.